Hi everybody, it's Phil here again from Ashland Leather, and today I've got a bunch of private stock wallets I wanted to show you. All of these wallets are going to be available on our website, ashlandleather.com, tomorrow, and that's Thursday, September 23rd. And we're going to be putting these up at noon Central Time. But let's start off first here with an incredible piece. And in fact, there's several leathers and several wallet variations in here that I've never seen before. Let's start off here with this Johnny the Fox, and this is a remarkable piece of reverse denim shell cordovan. Check out all the random dye marks on this one, and I love the way that our team has cut this one. I think Lupe made this wallet and a few of the others in the batch today. This is just beautiful cutting. I just love the texture and color range that they cut on the outside of this one. And on the interior of this wallet, this is something I've never seen before. This is actually marbled denim with a hatch grain texture on some shell cordovan, and that marbled hatch grain is on, let's see, 6 of the 8 card slots. It looks like right here, we've got some reverse blue on the second card slot down. This is just a really cool looking Johnny the Fox. And speaking of cool looking Johnny the Foxes, check out this guy. This is also something I've never seen before. This is magenta shell cordovan, which is a very pink shade. Kind of obviously, it's quite a bit lighter than the ultraviolet, but it's in the sort of same color family as the ultraviolet shell. This magenta shell cordovan has a really interesting lizard texture on it, and we've contrasted this lizard texture with some blue stitching that you can see on the outside, and we've done that same combo of colors on the interior here, where we have raw denim shell cordovan with magenta lizard shell cordovan. And while we're on the Johnny the Fox and lizard train here, let's look at another Johnny the Fox. Really cool one here. This is, again, lizard shell cordovan, but this is color number 4 lizard shell cordovan. We've also made a matching key fob for this one. You can see this key fob's a little bit different than most of the key fobs we do. We've added some little hand-stitched whip stitches to the bottom and the top left and right. But this key fob is sold with this Johnny the Fox, and this is a really special piece. I love this texture of the lizard on the color 4, which is one of my all-time favorite shell cordovan colors. On the inside here too, check this out. Really, really interesting. So we've got marbled denim shell on the bottom. It's pretty similar to the marbled black, but there's a little bit more blue in this marbled denim. And then above that, we've got something new. So this is marbled denim with a lizard texture for, again, 6 of the 8 card slots. And then on the centerpiece here, we've got color number 4 lizard shell cordovan. I do have a few more Johnny the Foxes to look at, but we'll look at those a little bit later. Let's jump around here to a coin pouch. And this is a coin pouch in a really cool leather. This is a version of Chromexol called Plainsman Chromexol. It's full grain. It's a little bit lighter, I'd say, than most of the natural Chromexol. It has a little bit more yellow to it, but the biggest difference is the grain character. You can see just a little bit more texture on this Plainsman Chromexol. And here's another brand new color of shell cordovan. This is the violet shell cordovan. This one I noticed was pretty difficult to capture just how interesting this violet shade is, and it's quite a bit more purple, more of a straight up purple when compared to the ultraviolet shell cordovan and the magenta shell cordovan. Those ultraviolet magentas seem to have a little bit more red to them, where this one is just straight up purple. And we've got a great Horween ink stamp on the inside of this one. Here's another Tony the Ant, but this is the tall version of the Tony the Ant. And check out the incredible random dye splatter on this one. I was going to call it dye marks, but it's certainly more of a splattered look. A lot of people really like this contrast of the lighter tan, sort of natural undertones with that colory dye splatter on top. Let me give you a look at the inside, where this is even better. So this looks to be hand glazed also. You can see that shimmer of luster. It's pretty bright and shiny, even though this is the reverse side of the shell. This is sort of a preview of how most reverse shell cordovan wears in. It tends to get a little brighter and shinier, and certainly a little bit more smooth to the feel. Another Tony the Ant to show you. This one is in the epic grain texture of the English tan Dublin. Not every piece of Dublin looks like this, and this one just has an incredible amount of figuring on the outside and the inside. We actually made 2 of these out of this epic texture English tan Dublin. Now here's one of my favorite wallets. This is the Fat Herbie in natural M's Chromexol, and this is the horse front. And the reason that this is extra special to me is this was cut out of the mane of the horse, so that you can see down the spine of this wallet. I really like this look. Usually we avoid cutting the manes, but I thought it was too interesting to not cut into special sections of this wallet. So you got the horse mane on the exterior spine of the wallet, but we also cut some of the horse mane on the interior card slots on the left and on the right. This one's got an additional hidden card slots on the left side and on the right side. And here's one of our Frank the Enforcers. This is the denim blue shell cordovan. This is about as blue as it gets. And in fact, this would be a really good time to compare the raw denim on the left to the denim blue on the right. You can see that the color has changed quite a bit once it has been polished in, and you can certainly see the luster has changed a significant amount. The raw shell cordovan starts off a little bit more dull, a little bit more of a matte finish, and I love the raw shell cordovan for its ability to patina. So if you're looking for something that's going to change with your style, the raw shell cordovan and this raw denim work really well. We also have raw natural, and we can do raw amaretto. And since I showed it to you, let's take a look at this denim shell cordovan Frank the Enforcer. Really cool blue shade. It's a little bit more of an aqua blue at most angles, and some angles it's a little bit darker, and that's because the shell cordovan is very directional. Depending on what angle you look at this leather, it can get a little bit lighter and a little bit darker. Here's another minimalist wallet that's kind of similar to the Frank the Enforcer, but this is what we call the two-shot card case. So we actually have one card slot on the front here that you can see my finger in right now, and there's one larger card slot in the top. These are designed for credit cards only. You can fit some cash in here, but even bills folded in half tend to stick out the top just a little bit. This one has incredible die splitter, and this is reverse color 8 shell cordovan. The back side of it too, we also cut in a really nice looking Horween ink stamp. Up next is our Capone money clip, and this is in a really beautiful green shade. This is a more recent color addition from Horween. We call this emerald shell cordovan. It's really nice green, like I mentioned. Some of the darker green shell cordovan that we were using before was a little bit too dark, and in certain lighting situations that dark green shell cordovan almost looks black, and that's why I like the emerald green here. It's certainly more of a green shade, very obviously green compared to the dark green shell cordovan. And here's a really special piece. I like this one for a few reasons. Number one, I haven't seen this leather before. This is actually the reverse side of dip dyed whiskey shell cordovan. It's a little bit more brown, and we have this leather sitting on top of the reverse side of some dip dyed amaretto shell cordovan, which looks very, very orange. So this is reverse dip dyed shell cordovan in amaretto and whiskey shell cordovan. It's a really cool look, and we accentuated some of this orange tone here on the reverse side of the dip dyed amaretto with a little bit of orange stitching on the outside, and on the inside we've got the same thing going on here. But the center here, this is where you can see the shell side of the dip dyed amaretto shell cordovan. Really like this vibrant orange shade from the dip dyed amaretto. Here's another great piece. This is a tall Tony the Ant. You can see on the outside here, the bill slot goes all the way to the top. There is no thumb notch on this bill slot, which is why we call it the tall Tony the Ant. And this is made in the classic color number 8 shell cordovan. Really, really nice dark brown burgundy shade. And on the shell cordovan, super glassy and smooth, really bright shiny luster. On the interior of this one, and this is why I prefer the tall versions of the wallet, is we're able to get this consistent look of the same color and leather on the inside of the wallet as well as on the outside. I think that's just really, really clean. Here's another special wallet that we don't offer very often. This is our long wallet in Dublin leather. On the outside, we've got really great natural grain character on this black Dublin. You can see all that bits of figuring in the grain. And on the interior, we also have Dublin leather, but this is English tan Dublin. This one is 8 card slots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 card slots on the left and 4 on the right. There's one big, large open slot underneath each of those card stacks. And let's keep it moving here. We've got a lot more great stuff to show you. This is a bison English tan Dublin on a 2-shot card case. The bison English tan Dublin just has this exceptional grain character, very pronounced grain on the English tan Dublin and the bison hides. Here's another 2-shot card case. This is the M's Chrome Excel, but this is the russet color. Really, really like this leather. Very grainy, great density to this horsehide. And here's a leather that is almost 80 years old. This is the blonde 1940s calfskin. This is some old leather that Horween leather has had sitting around since the 1940s. They're not able to produce it again, so we made a special 2-shot card case out of it. Another minimalist wallet here. This is a Frank the Enforcer in a new green Dublin leather. We don't have too much of this green Dublin still available, but it's a really nice piece. Here we have another coin pouch, and this is a really beautiful piece of color 8 shell cordovan with a lizard texture. You can see all that really cool texture of the lizard print on the outside of this coin pouch. There's something magical about this particular piece. Just when I was looking at it, taking photographs of it earlier, it's just a really clean looking piece of shell. Let's get into some more Johnny the Foxes. This one here is in the raw natural shell cordovan. Again, if you're looking for patina, The raw natural is about as good as it gets. And this particular private stock Johnny the Fox has some great figuring on the outside. Let's take a look at the inside here where we have some reverse color 8 shell cordovan with some very nice dye splatter. And up next here we have a Johnny the Fox in my favorite shell cordovan color. This is Amaretto shell cordovan, and I love this vibrant orangey tan shade of the Amaretto shell cordovan. Take a look at this exceptional piece of shell cordovan too. Super bright, shiny, and smooth. This is exactly what you want to see on a piece of shell. It's just a really smooth look. And this particular shell has a really rich feel to it. It's a really, really nice piece of shell. Probably one of the nicest shells I've ever felt. And on the inside of this one, we have a reverse natural interior. Another Johnny the Fox to look at, but this one has an incredible character on some marbled black shell cordovan. Look at these sort of linear striations in the texture. I love that in the marbled shells. We don't see them in every piece of shell, but I really love them when I see them. On the bottom of the wallet that you can see here, we've got this nice little fade, and it fades down to a little bit more of an orangey tan shade and a little bit more blue and green towards the top. And that's happening both on the left and on the right side. And the interior of this wallet, I think we've paired it perfectly with some reverse black shell cordovan. And the reverse black is a little bit green, like you see here. That's because this is the unintended reverse side of the black shell. If we look inside here at the intended side, the black shell cordovan here, if you flip that backwards, it's a little bit more green on the inside. Here's another great wallet, really smooth, shiny piece of shell here in a color that is a fan favorite color. This is Cigar shell cordovan on the Johnny the Fox. This one has some really nice hand stained edges. And on the inside of this, we have a leather that we're actually out of right now. This is actually mock horsehide latigo, MOC. And that MOC is just a light tan shade. It's got a little bit of orange to it that I think pairs really nicely with the Cigar shell cordovan. Another stunner here, and I'm saving perhaps the best for last. They're all really, really nice. This piece of garnet shell, again, is some of the nicest shell cordovan that I've ever seen. But wait till you see the inside of this guy. Check this out. We've got garnet shell cordovan paired with some tumbled natural shell. Everything about this guy is remarkable. One of the nicest Johnny the Foxes that I've ever seen. Oh, I thought that was the last one, but we have one more Johnny the Fox. Raw natural shell cordovan here. And this one should not be overlooked because it's actually got one of our 10-year anniversary stamps on the inside. This is also Amaretto shell cordovan on the interior. We're not able to make these. The reason that we saved this particular shell for the 10th anniversary was because we were not able to get them very often. So we collected thin pieces of Amaretto shell for about a decade. We're finally able to make a few of these Johnny the Foxes. For some reason, we had this one left over. Maybe I just forgot to run it in July for our 10th anniversary. Up next here is an Apple watch band, and this one is in a really cool piece of marbled black shell cordovan. You'll notice that the marbled black is also not black. We've got a little bit of color range, and it ranges from a forest green down to a little bit more of an orangey tan. This Apple watch band is an unlined strap, and it comes with black hardware. Here's a Tony the Ant, again in my favorite shell cordovan color, the Amaretto shell cordovan. Check out the inside though, where we've got some reverse ultraviolet shell cordovan on all of these card slots. This one card slot here, the second from the left, has a little bit more dye coverage than the rest of them. Here's another great tall Tony the Ant. This one is in color number 8 shell cordovan. Really great piece of color 8 shell here, that bright shiny luster. And I just love the classic cordovan color here, color number 8. On the inside of this one, we've actually flipped this part around. I was talking about earlier, that really clean look of a consistent interior. That's the one on the top here. We flipped this one around on the inside to show off the Horween ink stamp. And let's take a look at some tall Herbies. This one here is actually the wallet I am wearing right now. So let me show you that. So here's my tall Herbie. I've been wearing this one for about 2 or 3 months, and I've been loving this wallet. I love how the M's Chrome Excel is wearing in, and check out how the luster has developed on this. It's gotten a lot brighter and shinier. And this is a perfect example because it's the exact same hide that this was cut from. You can really see how much darker the leather has become and how much more polished in it looks. But let's look at this brand new one here, this tall Herbie. And the reason we call it the tall Herbie is because there is no thumb notch on that exterior bill slot, just like on the tall Tonys. Here's a look at the inside of this. I love this clean look on the inside of the tall Herbie here. We have the same natural M's chrome excel going all the way through the center. And here's another great tall Herbie. This one is also M's chrome excel, but this is in the russet color. And the russet chrome excel here is kind of like a combination between color number 4 shell and the garnet shell cordovan. It's got some reds and some browns depending on what angle you look at it. And again, here on the inside, I just love this clean, consistent look of the same leather throughout the interior. One last tall Herbie here, and this one's a total stunner for me. We've got black shell cordovan on the outside. It's a really, really nice piece of black shell. But what I like here is on the inside. I like this combination of black and natural. So this is natural shell cordovan on the interior. You might also notice the stamp on the bottom right here. This is what we call the baby Ashland stamp. Let's have a look at a couple more Capone money clips. This one is marbled color number 8 shell cordovan. I really like the marbled color 8 shell cordovan color range, and it ranges from that classic color 8 down to a little bit more of an orangey tan. We've got these sort of reddish magenta, sometimes a little bit more purple tones in between. On the inside of this, we also have marbled color 8 shell cordovan. I have that same little baby Ashland stamp, although this is Ashland stamp on the Capone is standard. And if you're into patina, I also really like the reverse shell cordovan for patina. This is reverse color 8 shell cordovan on the back of the wallet. We've got a nice little Horween ink stamp there. In the center spine section, we've got some classic color 8 shell. On the inside, we've got all reverse shell cordovan. Again, if you like patina, I love the way the reverse shell cordovan wears in on the interior of a wallet. The last Capone of the day, this is amaretto shell cordovan on the Capone money clip. My favorite shell cordovan color. Really nice, bright, shiny, smooth, and great feeling shell cordovan here. On the interior of this, more amaretto shell cordovan. Let's have a look at some Bugs Moran. This one here is a really special vertical card slot Bugs Moran, but this has a secret twist on the back. We've got an additional card slot on the back side of this Bugs Moran, and there's something special about this piece of Dublin. It's a really nice piece of English tan. Here's another tall wallet. This is a tall Tony the Ant in all reverse black shell cordovan. Great prominent Horween ink stamp on the outside. On the inside here, this is what really stunned me. It's something really great about the way this one looks with the reverse black on top of some black shell cordovan. Here's another leather. This is the first appearance of this color on shell cordovan. This is inverted denim shell cordovan. So this is actually, if I can explain it properly, typically they would finish the shell side with this denim look, but they flipped the cordovan backwards. So this is the reverse side of the shell cordovan where they've applied the denim stain. So if you think about that, the intended side then, the shell side, is going to get all the dye splatter, and that's exactly what we see on the inside here. The dye splatter side of the inverted shell cordovan, and this is all the dye splatter on the shell side, so it's extra bright, shiny, and smooth. This is the first appearance of inverted denim shell. I do have a few more shells of this, and they're all really, really cool. Here's another Bugs Moran. This is a raw denim shell cordovan piece, and this particular piece of raw denim is super nice. Obviously, it's a little bit more matte of a finish, not as bright and shiny of a luster as the normal polished shell cordovan. But what I like about this, again, is that ability and potential to develop patina, and the color starting off a little bit lighter. I like this blue shade of the raw denim very much. On the inside of this, we've got raw denim card holders on top of some reverse denim card holders underneath, and these larger 2 card slots, you can actually fit US dollars folded in half underneath here. Here's another beautiful Bugs Moran. This is natural shell cordovan, but this one is epic natural. You can see why we call it epic, because we get all this figuring in the shell here. This is not something that the tannery can control. It's sort of, each shell is a little bit different, and sometimes they're very intense like this. What's really neat about this epic natural is, depending on what angle you look at it, that texture sort of changes and gets a little bit more prominent. It's very, very cool, and that's why we saved it for this private stock event. We also have some more natural shell cordovan on the inside of this epic natural shell cordovan Bugs Moran. Another Bugs Moran to show you here. This one is my favorite texture that Horween does. This is called the Western texture, and we've got it on the classic color number 8 shell cordovan. On the inside of this guy, we've got some reverse color 8 shell cordovan. This is all random dye marks that I really enjoy seeing. Each of these pieces of reverse shell cordovan are totally unique. You're never going to find another Bugs Moran that looks just like this. This might be the best wallet for patina. So this is reverse shell cordovan, but it's reverse color 4. And I'm saying it's going to be great for patina because it's so light. Usually the reverse shells are not this light. Even on a reverse natural, this is about as light as it gets. And this one is a little bit extra thick. There's something about this piece that feels very substantial. And I mentioned color 4, so this is color 4 in the center. All of these card slots are color 4 also, but they're flipped backwards. They may as well be reverse natural because you can't really see the color 4. Here's another great piece in that brand new green Dublin leather. Check this out. Darker green on the surface with a little bit more of a light yellowy green on the pull-up color, and that's because we're displacing the wax that was finished onto the surface of the leather to reveal a little bit more of these lighter green undertones. It's a really beautiful shade here. On the inside, we've got something also special. English tan Dublin on the left and the right, but the thing that's a little bit different here is we flipped this card holder upside down. So this is the reverse side of English tan Dublin, and the reason we did that was to include the Horween measuring machine stamp on the left side here. You can see it says Horween USA. This is actually the measurement of the skin that was measured. It was 18.1 feet squared. A lot of great wallets here for patina today. This is another great one. This is raw natural shell cordovan. You can see we've got a little bit of figuring on this raw natural shell, but it's not as bright and shiny as the natural shell piece we looked at earlier. Really great potential to develop patina on this raw natural. And on the inside, we've got all the stamps. So every piece here has a stamp, Horween ink stamp, Horween ink stamp, and then we also have that same measuring machine stamp on the left here. Here's another great vertical Bugs Moran. This one is in whiskey shell cordovan. Really bright and shiny piece of whiskey shell cordovan here. I believe this one is an irregular. There's a little bit of modeling on the exterior right side here, which is a shame because otherwise this is just an absolutely perfect piece. On the inside of this guy, we've got vertical card slots in whiskey shell cordovan. Really like the look of this one. Very, very clean. And the last wallet for this month's private stock event. In fact, this might be the last private stock event of the year. We do have some holiday stuff planned, but we're not going to have another private stock event like this probably until 2022, which is crazy to say. But this Bugs Moran here, beautiful piece of denim blue shell cordovan. Really like the aqua blue undertones of the denim blue shell, and it's a little bit darker, a little bit more navy on the surface. You may have seen it on the backside here. This is an additional card slot on the exterior of this Bugs Moran. I like these exterior card slots for easy access. And when I was wearing a Capone money clip, that's what I liked most about the Capone, is how easily accessed your cards were on the exterior of a wallet. So this Bugs Moran variant is really good for that. On the inside of this one, we have more denim blue shell cordovan on both card slots, left and the right. So thanks for checking out everything in the video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Leave a comment, send me an email. I'm gonna pick my stunner. I'm gonna go back to this guy. This piece of garnet shell cordovan is probably the nicest shell I've ever seen. This one and that Amaretto we looked at earlier. And then there's something magical about this combo here. So thanks again for checking out. Let me know what your favorite was. And you'll be able to pick up all these tomorrow on our website around noon Central Time on ashlandleather.com. All right, thanks again. Have a good day.